Our Bible text is Matthew 25, verse 40. And the king will answer and say to them, Assuredly, I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. So here we have Jesus, and here we are in the final discourse in Matthew's Gospel. Remember, there are 5 big discourses in Matthew. It mimics the 5 books of Moses. It also tells us in a way that Jesus is the new Moses. He's bringing the new law of for the new covenant people. And here we are in the final discourse. And it's all about the end time or future events. Because our gospel was written sometime just after the temple was destroyed. Remember, the temple was destroyed in the year 70 AD. So for our author, or maybe they were a group of authors, they believed they were really living now in the end of days, and that Jesus would return at any time from their perspective. Never would have, this author would have thought that 2,000 years later, more or less, we are still here reading this gospel. So he presents Jesus here as talking about things, the end time events, because they were in the temple. And the people or the disciples of Jesus said, look at this grand temple. Then Jesus said, well, you see this temple, it's going to be destroyed. And so the disciples were asking, well, when will these things happen? Then Jesus gives this discourse of future events. So if we look at Matthew 24 to 25, it speaks there that the temple will be destroyed. And then Jesus also describes what will happen when the temple will be desecrated. There will be a siege of Jerusalem, and also of the coming of the Son of Man. Then Jesus also gives a parable of the fig tree. You know, about if you'll recognize these things, then you know the time is near. Then Jesus also speaks of the days of Noah, or the days of Lot. And he's encouraging his disciples, be vigilant, because one will be taken, one will be left. Be vigilant so that you will be the one that will be saved. And then Jesus also gives 3 parables about readiness. Be ready for the return of the Son of Man. And those parables is like, be like vigilant slaves. Then Jesus also gives that parable of the 10 virgins, and also the parable of the talents, where he also encourages his disciples to use and multiply what the Lord has given us. So a lot of Matthew 24 and also going to 25, it's about being vigilant for the coming of the Son of Man, and also to be ready for it, to be prepared and active for it. And then Jesus transitions to what is now the universal judgment by the Son of Man. So that's our present pericope, Matthew 25, verses 31 to 46. So it's very well known. So Jesus is the Son of Man. Of course, Jesus has many titles. He's not explicitly referred to as the new Moses, but he is the new Moses. He's the son of David. He's the royal Messiah also, because he's the King of Israel. He is Emmanuel, God with us. And also here he's identified as King. He rules on God the Father's behalf. And now Jesus explains what will happen at the final judgment. If we go to verse 31. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. So Jesus is also identified here as King, in addition to all those other titles that he has. The next verse. And all the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate them from one another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And then Jesus also describes the sheep will be on his right hand. That's in biblical tradition, that's the favored side. If you enjoy favor with God or the ruler, you are on the right. Like Jesus is also seated at the right hand of the Father. So it's a privileged side. And the goats will be on the left. So judgment, in a sense, has already been made. The people have already been separated. The sheep, who are the righteous, are on the right, And the goats who represent the unrighteous, they will be separated to the left. So judgment in a way has already been made. Now it's just declared publicly. And then Jesus goes on and he will say, if we go to verse 34, then the king will say to those on his right hand, in other words, the sheep, the favored ones, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And now Jesus sets the criteria for how these people have been judged and separated. And it's based on how they reached out or were compassionate to people in need. And these are the criteria that Jesus gives. If we read specifically verses 35 to 36, for I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you took me in. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. So those are the criteria that separates the sheep from the goats. Acts of compassion to those who are in need and vulnerable. It's these who are, Jesus here describes as righteous, who are on the right-hand side, who are about to inherit or enter God's kingdom. And in the parable, of course, Jesus also describes, because I will ask him, when did we do this to you, Lord? Interestingly, those criteria that helping those who are hungry and who are thirsty and the strangers, reaching out to them, etc. It's repeated 4 times in this parable. So very high significance on it. So 4 times this is repeated. What you have done or what you have not done. Exactly the same criteria that is spoken of here. 4 times in this parable. So the people asked Jesus, when did we clothe you? When did we feed you? When did we come visit you in prison, etc.? So now we come to our Bible text. And the king will answer and say to them, assuredly, I say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. So, interestingly, Jesus identifies himself with the poor, the vulnerable, the marginalized. Of course, here also specifically as being God's people. Jesus identifies with them, not the strong, not the powerful, not the victorious, with the vulnerable, the marginalized. Jesus identifies with them as his brethren, as his brothers and sisters. Because if you do any of those good deeds to his brethren, it's like doing it to Jesus himself. Now, of course, Jesus contrasts the sheep who will inherit God's kingdom with the goats who did not do those things. And then in verse 41, the parable continues. Then he, that's the king, will also say to those on the left hand, depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. Then Jesus goes on and says, you did not do any of those things for my brethren. And also, if we contrast verse 34 and verse 41, the fate of those sheep in verse 34 says, come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. And we can contrast them with the fate of the goats in verse 41. Depart from me, you cursed, into the everlasting fire prepared for the devil and his angels. And also finally in verse 46, there's this contrast. And these will go away into everlasting punishment. In other words, those who did not do those good deeds, but the righteous into eternal life. So here we have Jesus in the final discourse in Matthew's Gospel. Especially here, it's about the final judgment where Jesus will separate the sheep from the goats. And the criteria for that separation is that those who perform deeds of kindness, deeds of compassion, it's like doing it to Jesus himself. These are the righteous. These are the ones who will inherit and enter God's kingdom. So for all of you who want to read and study more the Bible, specifically the New Testament, as many of you are aware, The church has recently published this book on Paul, an introduction to his life and letters. So it's also available as an ebook. But also this is also a reminder for everyone who's interested in the Gospels that we've also published this book in the past that's also richly illustrated. It's got good information on Jesus, his world, his context, and also the world of the Gospels, and also specifically that this book is also now available as an ebook. So if you want to read more and delve more into the history of the New Testament, these books, also now both available as ebooks, are available for sale. So go to our website and the sales page, and all the information is there.